Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kuret Isagami, your resident Tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now this week, thankfully, it looks like we're finally going to be slowing down just a little bit after all the hype and excitement of the Full Metal Panic collaboration. Now, even though the collab banners for Urzatine, Kashim Lest, and Silbelisle will be continuing on until much later in the month, just as standard collaboration rules, that still does not disqualify from any other exciting assets and new bots coming in from making their grand debut. Needless to say, this week it is still going to be relatively lower term in terms of new content per se, as we see the grand debut of two models we actually have seen previous up to this point. Zodiac models making a callback to Medarot and Navi, and that is of course Aries and Virgo. That being said, let's go ahead and jump right into this week's episode of what was announced for this week of what I call the Maiden and the Ram. Starting up with the Gacha banners for this week, we are leading the pack with VRG-0 Virgo with the kit of Gunpowder Guard, Double Charge Plant, Wheeled Legs, and the Shape Memory leg ability, ironically. And then Virgo is also capable of a meta change, where she can transform into a gel, putting it nicely, there really is no other way to say it, puddle. And in this form, she trades her kit out for Guard 500, Melee Trap, Shoot Trap, Sea Legs, and the Fortress leg ability. Behind her, we also see the debut of ARS-0 Aries, the Ram, with a kit of First Aid, Double Suction, Multi-Legs, and the Adapter like ability. Now, a lot of people were actually curious about what exactly happened to Aries originally, because folks that did see him prior to, in Story Mode Arc 3 of the game up to this point, he was kitted with Beam. Very likely that was just a temporary thing because Suction did not exist at the time, but thankfully now that Suction does, Aries is actually able to maintain and keep his original kit that he had when he first debuted in Navi all those years ago. Behind these two, we also see a pretty fair number of reruns and spotlights this week, the first of which going live is KBT-0A and Zudo Beetle, another callback from the days of Medarot and Navi, with a kit of Shoot Boost, Double Sacrifice, Biped Legs, and also with the Shape Memory like ability. Now, of the three here we have so far, they are honestly all very well mixed models. I'd say mixed viability between all three of them, but with Shape Memory, it's really something you really can't go wrong with, as it is a pretty nice survival, I guess, or extended survival kind of kit if you want to make use of it, but not necessarily anything game-breaking between these three bots thus far. Once again, the collaboration models, Kashim Lest, Urzatine, and Silbelisle will still be sticking around for a good couple weeks, so if you have not had a chance to snag them yet, I would recommend doing that first before considering either of the three models. Now, as if this doesn't enough, we also do see Spotlight highlights and another rerun. For the Spotlights, we are seeing a highlight on VAL-0 Pretty Prime with a kit of Mirror Guard, Freeze, Basic Guard, Biped Legs, and the Dead or Alive like ability. And then behind her, everybody's favorite healing and nurse type, NAS-01 Saint Nurse, with a kit of Perfect Guard, Double Count Repair, Biped Legs, and the Fix Plus like ability. And then, a rather interesting turn of events in terms of who we're seeing come back, it is my old boy KBT-0C Crotogil with a kit of Missile, Rifle, Gatling, Biped Legs, and the Primacy leg ability. Now, of the three of this page in particular that we're seeing, Pretty Prime and Saint Nurse are spotlights, which means they are already available in the permanent banner, and we already have a shot at getting them at pretty much any other gacha pull we have. That being said, I would not prioritize going after either of them very much, if at all, because more often than not, as say if you're going after any of the collab bots or even Virgo, especially Virgo, who is a meta change model, chances are you already will pull one or two parts from the spotlight models anyway, and thus these banners are kind of ruby traps more or less. Now, with the Fierce Battles we have this week, it also is going to be a little lower tier, thankfully, as a way to kind of recoup lost resources after such an exciting event. Starting up the line, we have SAM-0 Samurai with a kit of Full Charge, Double Beam Sword, Biped Legs, and the Endurance leg ability. Behind him, we have HMS-0 Jungarian with a kit of Radar Sight, Double Gatling, Float Legs, and the Mascot leg ability. And then last but not least, CCD-0 Semi-Cicade with a kit of Melee Trap, Double Break, light legs, and the nest leg ability. Now, honestly, of the 3 models here, there still is some very good versatility between all 3 of them. Samurai for full charge and beam sword, Semi-Cicade for free break. So that being said, I honestly would have to give MVP of the week primarily to Samurai first, given the fact that full charge has fantastic versatility in any Metaforce reliant team, whether that be shooting or melee based. And even if his is considered a heavy part and rather expensive to raise, since it is indeed a 1-star ranked part, it is absolutely going to be worth it in the long run to raise, just so you have it on hand. Semi-Cicade also I would have to give a close second to, primarily because Break is always good to have in any team because of its heavy punish ability, especially with passive pierce damage on top of that for even more damage bonus. That being said, both of those I would give MVP of the week. Jungarian I'd say collect just for the sake of having her if you don't already, primarily because Gatling and Radar Sight are nice to have, but still very far so outclassed compared to most other things that we do see to date. Now, in particular, with Chrono Jill being added to the rerun banner, that is because my boy is finally, at long last, getting the tune-up treatment, and I am, man oh man, so excited for this. My boy already was pretty much a master of balance and shooting combat, pretty much as any other member of his family would be, but it is kind of obvious where my bias lies in this case, so it is going to be very nice to see Chrono Jill finally get that treatment. Some of the highlights that he is offering include a bonus to his success, which is already his likelihood of landing hits, and putting it simply, balance becomes his true mastery, in which it already was to a point, but his already well-rounded kit becomes even better thanks to the bonuses that they're willing to offer him for that. Now, we were also revealed that we are getting 2 more super rare Medarots being added to the general banner, as I'm going to call it from here forward, to separate it from the permanent banner, which is for bots. In this case, we are getting Yukata versions of both Arika and Karen, and the special skills that they are offering. That being said, Arika in particular, when using her skill, is a 10% damage reduction when taking damage, and an additional 10% as well if you are using a shield skill or defending. In addition, Karen's skill will also grant a 20% buff to your charge gauge when defending against a hit, and also fills your cooldown by 50% for that one turn. Now on that as well, and just as a reminder, Medarot activations only last 1 turn, so naturally you want to use them sparingly and make sure that you are using them at their best advantage so you don't, say, mistime it or misfire it and waste the ability. But, as mentioned, if what I read was correct, these both will be available permanently in the general banner for Medarots, which means there really is going to be no rush going after them unless you have some rubies to burn. Now, on the community front, we are still always and continually looking for translators for the Medarot 3 and Reloaded translation projects, so if you have any knowledge in coding or cleaning or Japanese with some time on your hands, we are more than appreciative of any efforts that you'd be willing to provide. Medarot 3 still has been progressing just a little bit slow to my knowledge, but most of the grunt work has already been done thanks to users like Variant and Wiset, who I did actually interview a fair number of weeks ago just to talk about the progress and just what goes into that process for creating those translations and decompiling the code. But they have said, and I have continued to say it since, we are still in need of translators so that we can translate all the lines of text primarily for the game's story so we can get it done. We would love to start working on Medarots 4, 5, and Navi, which are the more sought after and requested games that we'd love to see done, and I too would love to see them as well. So again, if you'd like to contribute to that and see those to completion, feel free to reach out and we can get you in touch with the right people that can fill you in on all the information needed. Now, for the weekly art highlights, I did find this really nice piece of Sagoto here by Twitter user AmayuPick. And Sagoto is really nice particularly because he only showed up a very small handful of times, only in, say, 1 or 2 games at tops. In the anime, he only showed up for about 2 episodes tops, and he's kind of a lesser-known bot in relative to the well-known and iconic Gokudo, who everybody knows and loves. So it is very nice to see another, a lesser appreciated model such as Sagoto being highlighted. And of course, with Chrono Jill getting his tune-up treatment, I absolutely just could not help myself by finding a piece of my boy Chrono Jill to highlight. In this piece in particular by Twitter user Madama Usagi. Always fantastic artwork there as well to follow if you are looking to add more to your feeds. But with all that being said, I do believe that covers just about everything for this week's episode, so I do appreciate you all for stopping by once again, just as you always have consistently and giving me the ongoing support and encouragement. That being said, if you would like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page and the Metabots Forever communities there that I also run. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below, which is a direct link to Project Rising Beetle's official Metabots server, where we keep the closest ear to the ground on anything related to Medarot. That includes any new games, weekly episodes that you see here, new merchandise, any updates. That server is the first place you will hear it before anywhere else. You can always reach out to me personally on Twitter at Isagamikura, so if you have any questions or feedback or comments, definitely feel free to reach out. My DMs are always open for that reason, so don't be a stranger and feel free to drop in and say hi. And do also give these wonderful friends of mine a follow as well. Twitter user TadDeviceEXE, another robotic streamer that does focus on Medarot content every here and there. And they actually have also finished scratch making a 3D model of their model, and it looks honestly amazing, even for a first-time model. And a first-time modeler in that case using Blender. Fantastic work, my friend, if you are watching this. Well done, and I'm so proud to see the end result of that work. And do also give Mono at Mono0 also a follow on Twitter for some fantastic art as well, not just Medarot related, but also in a wonderful and very cute and soft chibi style as well. You will definitely never go wrong adding either of these to your Twitter feeds as you scroll through. That being said, thank you again for stopping by, folks. It's always happy to have you in for a visit. Until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.